Shampoo is a complete and utter scam, and by the end of this video, you will never use it again. Unless you're like double-digit IQ, then I can't really help you, man. Have you ever noticed how homeless people who, out of everyone in society, should be the ones balding by every conceivable metric, actually seem to grow really long hair and don't really show as much signs of balding? And more than that, homeless people who look like their hair should be graying actually retain their color. How do you explain that? The explanation is very simple. It's because they don't use shampoo. This satanic industry, what it does is that it causes the problem and then sells you the solution. It's as simple as it is. Your hair never actually needed shampoo to begin with. There are tons of examples that I can give you of people who don't use shampoo and have better hair than 99% of people.
That it's been 5 years since she last washed her hair with shampoo.
So Jackie, why? Why did you decide, and are you going for, what's the end point, or why did you decide to do this?
I, about 5 years ago, started getting interested in examining the products that I use on myself, I use on my family, and we use in our house. The average American woman puts how many chemicals on herself in a day? How many do you think? 515. That's how many chemicals the average woman puts on her body in a day. So reading facts like that made me concerned, and I decided to examine my own practices. Now what I do, and I've been doing this for several years, is I rinse my hair with water a couple times a week. I scrub my scalp really well, and then a couple times a month I will use baking soda mixed in a little bit of water, and I will use that. The baking soda gets rid of smells, and I'm more concerned about the chemicals and the unintended consequences that those will have on my body and my child. Smell to me doesn't smell to my family, doesn't smell to my friends. So I don't have that shampoo smell.
No, right,
but to me, after being away from those chemicals for so long, that actually smells toxic to me. My nose reacts violently to those kinds of chemicals.
And I love the idea of what you're doing, because shampoo didn't exist 500 years ago.
Because what shampoo actually does is that it not only does it directly damage your hair follicles, but also it aggressively strips out the natural oils that your scalp produces, which puts your scalp into an emergency state of extreme stress and forces it to overproduce those oils, which is why your hair gets disgusting and greasy after a few days of not washing, which makes you need the shampoo again and again and again. But if you go off it for like 1 to 2 months, you won't be experiencing that again. It actually takes very little time compared to the decades of abuse that you have put on your scalp and hair. Now, what should you do instead? Because obviously we can't have you not use shampoo for 2 months and just walk around with greasy hair until it fixes itself. You know, we live in a society. I assume that you've got some obligations in which you can't be showing up looking like a wet raccoon. So, in this case, as I have already said multiple times on this channel, just use raw eggs to wash your hair. That's gonna get rid of all of the oiliness. It's gonna give your scalp immense amounts of nourishment. It's gonna strengthen your hair. It's gonna do so many wonders for your hair from every possible angle that you can think of. This is what I do. Among other things, this is what I do. This is how I primarily wash my hair. You know? And I've never used shampoo in a very long time. Now it goes deeper than that because of the inherent toxicity of shampoo, which, by the way, you might not notice, but there is no FDA regulation. There are no regulatory bodies that actually limitate the amount of toxic, carcinogenic products that they can put inside of it. So they are legally allowed to put as much poison into that substance as possible, which they will do if it means increasing their profit margin. And the thing you need to understand is that every single thing you put on your scalp, on your skin, your skin is an organ, okay? Every single thing you put on there gets absorbed inside of the body, which is why we're coming to the title of this video, shampoo makes you retarded. Because all of these toxic chemicals actively play a role in the brain fog that you might be experiencing, which is much more of a recent problem. Our ancestors didn't deal with the amounts of brain fog that we do today, and shampoo is a contributor of that. It literally destroys your brain cells over time, and the accumulation, depending on how frequently you use it. Bro, if you wash your hair with shampoo every single day, or 5 days a week, or whatever, you are annihilating yourself. You are making yourself so much more retarded than what you could be. And I know what some people are gonna say. They're like, oh, but I'm on shampoo and I function just fine. Or, oh, I know this guy and he does, and I know countless of successful whatever the fuck people that use shampoo. Yes, but they could be even smarter. They could have better clarity of thinking. They could be in better health. They could actually keep their hair naturally, because if you are prone to balding, if you are genetically prone to balding, shampoo actually accelerates that process dramatically. As balding is an epigenetic process, just because you have the gene for it doesn't mean that you necessarily need to be balding. Just like the person who has a gene that makes them predisposed to certain types of cancers don't necessarily have to get them if they don't trigger the gene through the unhealthy habits. It's the same thing with your hair, right? But instead what people are going to do is they're going to sell you on minoxidil and finasteride, which have their own side effects and their own types of toxicity. But in reality, you shouldn't even be balding to begin with if you know what you're doing with your hair and scalp. No, it goes much deeper than just quitting shampoo and putting eggs on your hair. That is a massive start. That is like the highest leverage 80-20 rule type of thing that you can do. But there is much more advanced wisdom when it comes to hair care that has been lost, that many of our ancestors were actually implementing. But all of this has been completely washed away because this type of information would take so much money out of the pockets of these satanic corporations, you know. But yeah, hopefully my thesis has convinced you, and this type of knowledge is extremely important because, trust me, your hair is your life, right? Unless you have like a top 1% warrior skull like Jeremy Meeks, shit hair can severely descend your looks, and not to mention the anti-aging benefits. Your hair isn't actually supposed to be graying. Your hair isn't even supposed to leave you, first of all, but you're not even supposed to be graying. There are old people who retain their hair colors due to a combination of eliminating the modern garbage that is absolutely cucking your overall health, but especially your hair. Your hair is a reflection of your health. And they combine it with very powerful ancient wisdom that your dermatologist is never gonna tell you about. Anyways, you keep ascending.